Advaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahavana Lalita Shri Shakam Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Dr. Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Devi Vancha Kalpataruscha Kripa Sindhu Devasya Patitam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare So again, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here today, and I pray for the blessings of all of you to speak on the very important verses in our tradition, the Chaitanya Shastakam, 8 instructions personally composed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, from which we can understand the very essence of his movement. His very heart is invested in those prayers. So today, the main topic will be bhava. So Bhava Bhakti is here. So we'll especially ask for the blessings of Bhava Bhakti to speak on this very elevated topic. It's a little bit beyond my pay grade, as they say. This will be somewhat theoretical. But I have embarked upon this series of the Shikshastakam, so we do want to do justice to this topic. And even though Bhava Bhakti Bhava means transcendental emotion. So it's a transcendental emotion of love of Godhead, which appears in a very elevated stage of Bhakti. So it's not where I'm at in my spiritual life, but it's something to aspire for. And what is very valuable about studying this topic is that very often we are involved in our practice. Most of us here are sadhakas, we're practicing devotees, we're trying to cultivate. What are we trying to cultivate? Yeah, we're actually cultivating bhava bhakti, and that then matures into prema bhakti. We'll discuss the difference between these two. So that's our goal, and many times we're not so aware, at least I can speak for myself, when we practice, how much are we aware of the goal? Not so often, mostly we just, we're going through life, especially in New York City, and we have to do this and that, and to get our rounds chanted, and if we can get some reading or hearing, and so we are in touch with Krishna, we are practicing, but sometimes we forget why or what's the goal of this practice. So we're going to hear something about it, and that's very valuable because in order to know where you're going, in order to go somewhere, it really helps that you know where you're going to go. Let's say I want to go to Port Authority. I have to have some idea, like where is Port Authority, what is Port Authority, and where to go in Port Authority and so on. So something about your destination should be known in order to go there. So just a very, very quick synopsis of what we heard so far. So the first verse of the Shikshastakam describes the complete evolution in a nutshell of Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. The chanting of Krishna's holy names, the congregational chanting of Krishna's holy names, not only Krishna's holy names, Krishna's form, pastimes, and so on, leads to many transformations within the heart. The heart becomes cleansed, um, the lotus of good fortune awakens, of pure devotion awakens in the heart, and so on. So this is the main topic of the Shikshastakam, the effects of Sri Krishna Sankirtana. Then Lord Chaitanya laments, why are these great benefits of Krishna Sankirtana not manifest in my heart? What is this misfortune? And then the commentators say this is offenses to the holy names, which blocks us from experiencing the full experience of love of Godhead. And then Lord Chaitanya gives us the key, how we can really accelerate our progress. Anyone knows the next verse? The third verse of the Shikshastakam. Narvisvichena Turodavisvishna Amanyamanadena Kirtaniya Sadavadi. In order to get a real taste for chanting, one has to develop four things. One has to become humble, like a blade of grass, tolerant, forgiving, and compassionate, like a tree. I won't elaborate on all these qualities. One has to not desire respect for oneself, so one has to be devoid of false ego, I and mine, and give respect to all others. So actually these four qualities, they are symptoms of one who chants without offense. These attributes, these qualities of humility, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, not wanting respect and offering respect, naturally become manifest in the heart of one who chants offenselessly. But in order to chant offenselessly also, it helps to cultivate those qualities. So once the devotee has those qualities of chants, and then they can Kirtaniya Sadavadi. Then the Lord's holy name can always be chanted by the devotee. And then the pure desire awakens. This was our last class a few weeks ago. Then the pure desire awakens for pure devotional service in the heart of the devotee, Shuddha Bhakti. Lord Chaitanya, he prays, I don't want wealth, I don't want Nandanam, I don't want followers, or like a very, a lot of relatives and friends and so on. I don't want to have attachment to the opposite sex. And he says, I don't even want liberation. Janmani, Janmanishvare, Bhagavat Bhakti Rahiti. Let pure bhakti, ahitaki bhakti, unmotivated bhakti, no other motivation but to please Krishna. May that desire become fully manifest in my heart. And then the next verse, Lord Chaitanya prays. He's now praying to Krishna, very directly. Krishna is formed as whom? Nanda Tanuja, the son of Nanda. Ai, oh Lord, Nanda Tanuja, son of Nanda. So a very specific form of Krishna is now approaching. Ai, Nanda Tanuja, Kinkaram, Patitam, Mam, Vishame Bhavam. Uplift me. Who am I? Kinkaram, I'm your servant. Kinkaram. Kinkara means what do I do? So that's a kinkara. Kim means what and kara means doing. What do I do? How can I serve? That's a kinkara. So, and I'm fallen, Vishame, in this very terrible ocean, birth and death. Please pick me up. Kripaya, Tavapada Pankadya, Stita Dhuli Sadrisham Vichinjya. Place me as an atom on your lotus feet. So the acharyas explain this means he's not actually praying for liberation because he already rejected that. He doesn't say just free me from suffering. He says place me as an atom of your lotus feet. That's his desire. That means place me in my eternal constitutional position at your lotus feet. So he's praying for the manifestation of his Swarupa, of his eternal nature as a servant of Krishna. And the jivas, we're all living beings, we're very small. And we have an eternal relationship with Krishna. Actually, all of us eternally belong at the lotus feet of Krishna. That's where our eternal shelter is. So Lord Chaitanya is praying, please again, let me be this tiny jiva who I truly am, situated in my eternal relationship at your lotus feet. So he's praying for this manifestation of Swarupa, of his eternal nature, in relationship with not any form of God, but Nanda Tanuja. So this is the next aspiration. And this aspiration actually really becomes prominent in higher stages of bhakti. When the heart becomes cleansed and the devotee starts to develop ashakti of great attachment to Krishna, then this kind of desire for really understanding one's eternal nature with Krishna becomes very strong. So, and then that leads to the next stage, which is? Yeah, bhava bhakti. From this strong attachment, from this strong desire to attain Krishna, comes the next stage. So, and this is also expressed in the prayer of hankering for this state. But from this hankering we can understand what the state is. So, oh, I think we lost the screen here.
I turned it on. I think it's something on the laptop settings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, shut off. The bar shut off. It said.
Well, it's on the right HDMI and it's plugged in, but I'm pretty sure the laptop settings has to.
Alright, so then I'll ask you all to take out your phones. And you can open it up at Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chapter Antya Lila, chapter 20, text number 36.
Say the number one more time, please.
Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila, Antya 20.35. So, sorry, 2036. So I'll just read the preliminary sloka, 2035. Punati utkanta dainya hailabudgam Krishna taye mage prema nama sankirtan. Natural humility and eagerness then awoke in Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He prayed to Krishna to be able to chant the Mahamantra in ecstatic love. And he said, Mage Prema Nama Sankirtan. He's praying for chanting Nama Sankirtana, chanting the holy names, Prema, in pure love. So now 36. So we can all chant together. I think many of you know this the sloka. Good melody. Nayanam galadashrudharaya Varanam gardhaya gira Ulake chichamabhukada Taranam grehame vishyati. Can somebody please read the translation?
My dear Lord, when will my eyes be beautified by filling with tears that constantly glide down as I chant your holy name? When will my voice falter and all the hairs on my body stand in transcendental happiness as I chant your holy name?
Yes. Any immediate thoughts in this verse? Something comes to mind for you. What is described here? What's the emotion? What's the feeling? What's the aspiration?
Longing?
Longing, yes. Kada, when? Oh, when? When will I?
Desperation.
Desperation. Any other thoughts?
Humility.
Humility.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, but I hanker for it. This is what I want with all my heart.
Importance of holy name.
Yeah, Nama Grahane, in the chanting of the holy names. When will this all happen to me? So the holy name is still right front and center. Yes, Janita.
I was gonna say this, whoever's speaking, of course, Lord Chaitanya is speaking, but he's not feeling the emotion, but he knows what emotion should be there. So he's also aware of what should be coming and what should be there, like he's understanding the science but not getting the result and therefore longing for that.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned earlier, we have to know where we're going to.
Who of you have some experience? Thank you, Janita, for one. This leads me to what I'm going to ask you now. Who of you had some experience of these kind of symptoms, either in devotional life or outside of it? Like tears coming from your eyes. Maybe not in streams, it says here, Galat Ashudharya. Streams of like Lord Chaitanya, when he would cry, like it would be like, I think it's even said, please correct me if I'm wrong, like in Jagannath Puri, in the temple where Lord Chaitanya used to stay, next to the Garuda Stamba, it would be like a little pool of water, usually like next to him, because so much water would. Actually, even Srila Prabhupada, Rukmini Devi, she who comes here regularly, one of our board members, she told me that once Srila Prabhupada came and all the devotees went to the airport, she had to stay back, she has to worship the deity. And then Srila Prabhupada came, made his obeisance. It was here in New York City. And so she was standing like on the side, she had opened the curtains and playing the Govinda prayers. And then Srila Prabhupada was standing quite close to the altar. And she says that she got sprayed by tears, Srila Prabhupada's tears. Just like sprouted from his eyes. How blessed is she to have experienced that? Sometimes these symptoms also they may be there, but not everybody can see them. That's another very interesting thing. You have to get some special mercy actually to even see them. And more about that later. So, but yeah, we may not feel tears or stream, but maybe sometimes tears come to our eyes when we see the deeds, when we chant, when we do Kirtan, when we hear like a beautiful pastime of Krishna. So we have some sense of this, the kind of that awakening of like, it's very hard to describe what it actually is. Or the voice choking. Maybe you have an experience of voice choking, maybe even in the material sense. Yes, Rajatoshini, you are.
Yeah, I mean, many occasions, right? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like you get kind of choked up, and you can't really talk properly.
My friend told me for his guru's Vyasa Puja, like he wrote an offering very soberly, but when he went to speak it, just unexpectedly, his voice started kind of choking up.
Yeah. I have the problem many times when you speak about something like close to the heart, and it's like, then that choking sometimes happens. And hairs and body stand on end. So yes, these are external symptoms of an internal state. And what is important is not so much the external symptoms, because they can be fake sometimes, but the internal state, that is what is important. So the internal state is called bhava. It's bhava, it's transcendental emotion. So I would like to look with you at the definition of Bhava Bhakti. I have it here, I wanted to pull it up here, but it is, again, please go to the next verse. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, Madhya 23, text 5. All good?
23:5.
Yes, Madhya Lila. So I'll chant it, you can chant along with me if you like. Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma Prema Suryam Shusamyabha Ruchirishchitra Masunya Krida Samabhava Uchyate. Translation, anyone please.
When devotional service is executed on the transcendental platform of pure goodness, it is like a sun ray of love for Krishna. Wow. At such a time, devotional service causes the hearts to be softened by various tastes, and one is then situated in bhava, emotion.
Yes, so let's look at this. So Bhava Uchyate, this is from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, composed by Rupa Goswami, on the order of Lord Chaitanya, to give us the complete outline of the development of pure bhakti, Krishna prema. So Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma, so whose nature is distinguished as Shuddha Sattva. So Bhava is an emotional state, but it's not of this world. And you can experience choking of the voice, tears coming from your eyes, hair standing on end even, due to very strong material emotions too. Like Arjuna also is described, his hair was standing on end, right? His voice was choking up, also due to tears coming from his eyes, also due to very intense emotion. But this was a material emotion. By the arrangement of the Lord, he was put in this material state of material lamentation. But this doesn't speak about, this is an emotion which descends within the heart. It's called Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma. So the Acharya say this is the descent of the internal potency, the Ladhini Shakti and the Samvit Shakti within the heart. So the Samvit Shakti is the Lord's chit potency, the knowledge potency, which reveals knowledge of Krishna and one's eternal nature in relationship with Krishna. So when this descends, actually one gets a revelation of Krishna. One can actually see Krishna, experience Krishna. And Ladhini, there's an awakening of love, of intense ecstatic and ecstasy of love, of deep attachment for Krishna. So that descends into the heart, that is the internal potency descending upon one. It's almost like, Srila Prabhu gives this example. You can kind of pick up different channels with a radio. So let's say we are the antenna, and we can tune in to this potency, the material potency, but if we become tuned into the spiritual potency, then this happens. Then Krishna consciousness awakens within us. We become aware of Krishna. Really by perception can see Krishna. Krishna becomes revealed, and love for Krishna becomes revealed in a particular way, in a particular mood. How many relationships are there with Krishna? Which are those? Which 5 relationships?
There is Shanta, Dasya,
Shanta is passive.
Neutrality.
Yeah, neutrality, a neutral relationship.
Dasya, Surakosha,
The sense of being a servant of Krishna.
Sakya,
Sakya,
Friend.
friendship,
being friend of Krishna.
Vatsalya,
Vatsalya, being parent of Krishna. And
Madhurya.
Mandura, being so a lover of Krishna. So one of these relationships awakens at this time. There's this by the descent of this internal potency, this revelation is there. But it's not the full, complete manifestation. It's described as, if you look at the sloka again, Prema Surya Angsha Samya Bhag. It is like a ray of the sun of Prema. So if Prema is the sun, then this is like the ray, the first. Like when you see the sunrise, like first there's some rays. So you see the sun, it's the sun, but it's not the full sun. Or it's like it's described that this bhava is prema ankura, it's the first sprout. If prema is like a fully blossomed plant, and this is like the first sprout really coming out. So it is nothing, bhava bhakti is nothing but love of God, but it's just not the full manifestation yet. So, but it's actually not different. Bhava is just the first state of prema. But there's still some impurities in the heart on a very, very subtle level, by which the full experience cannot be fully, it's not there yet. So this is still very subtle impurity then. Due to some previous offenses and some previous anarthas, but it's very subtle. And when that's fully gone, then prema becomes fully manifest. That's how it's described. Yes, Vinisha, you had a...
Is an analogy there like just a little taste, or is that not a similar analogy?
No. Like let's say when we sometimes experience some bhava, we get a little taste.
Yeah.
Right? But this is not fleeting like that.
It's more constant.
This is now one enters a constant state of awareness of Krishna. Krishna becomes revealed once what's called sthayi bhava, once constant, staying means constant emotional relationship connection with Krishna becomes revealed at this time.
So it's like it's constant, but it's light. Maybe like it's
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah. It's, let's say, prema light.
Yeah, prema light. Diet prema.
But even the first ray of prema is like, once you experience that, and I think we can even relate to whatever little experience, emotional experience we have in Krishna consciousness. It's like, if you say like, is there anything better than that? No. So at this stage, actually, you lose all interest in anything else. Like nothing, even liberation or the greatest material happiness, you lose complete interest. Because even the first ray of prema, which illumines the heart, it's the most incredible thing you would ever experience. So, and then another thing is described here. Ruchi vischittamastanunya krit. This awakening causes the heart, the chitta, the heart of the consciousness, the mind. Chitta means the consciousness, the combination of the atma with the mind, with intelligence. At this point, the false ego is basically out of the door. But it causes the consciousness of the heart to fully melt. Mastrinya means the softening of the heart. Ruchihi, by various tastes. So due to the experience of Krishna, the taste of that, and the desire to love Krishna, to serve Krishna, to attain Krishna, which comes from that experience, this taste that completely softens the heart. What if the softening of the heart? What does that? What does that? What thoughts does that bring in your mind?
Butter.
Butter, yeah.
Butter.
Yeah.
Melting.
Yeah. Is the melting of the heart. Who of you had an experience of the heart melting? Again, it can be spiritual, it can be material. When does the heart melt?
Puppies.
Puppies? Puppy
It's
town?
so true. Like when you see like your mom,
Yeah.
you know.
When you see something like really beautiful and cute, your heart melts. You look at your baby, your heart melts. When you look at your beloved does something for you, the heart may melt.
I think someone mentioned last week there's like those videos where a soldier will come back to home and they see their reunion with their family, and those are like really heartwarming like moments captured.
yeah, it's especially when you become aware of the object of your love. Let's say like in another video I saw some time ago, I was like a bombing happened, and the father is standing there outside in the burning building, his daughter's inside, and then the rescue worker comes out carrying the daughter, and of course, complete like, like a torrent of tears basically. It's the heart completely melting seeing his daughter. So these are just some examples for us to relate to it, what it means to really become aware of Krishna. It's like, again, being reunited with that person you've forgotten for so long, your most intimate, beloved friend, the one who's been with you throughout everything, through all ups and downs, every form of life, your deepest heart connection, your deepest relationship beyond all other relationships you have. And again, reconnecting with that. It's like that feeling is, and that is constant then. And then whenever that reconnection with Krishna, that melts the heart. That revelation of Krishna, that really melts the heart. We read about this in, for example, a beautiful story of Narad Muni, where he's instructed by the sages and he learns from them, and then his mother dies, and he goes north, and at some point he sits down under the banyan tree in meditation, and he meditates on his beloved Lord, and he already has so much attachment, but then he has this revelation of Krishna, and he's like tears are streaming for his eyes, and he has this sense of like, I'm now reunited with the person that which I found what I've been looking for so long, so many relationships, so many experiences, and then he loses that, and then there's that the rest of his life is basically just longing to again attain Krishna. This is the tastes, the ruchi. This is how Jiva Goswami's place is the longing to attain Krishna, the longing to serve Krishna, the longing for that. It's called samharda abhilasha, the desire for being deeply connected with Krishna within the heart. So this gives a little bit of an idea. So Lord Chaitanya is praying for this intense. Bhava is also called rati. Rati means attachment. It's very intense attachment to Krishna, which overwhelms the heart. When this kind of feeling of attachment, this experience of Krishna, this deep loving attachment to Krishna, when it overwhelms the heart, that's called sattvam. That's defined as sattvam. And when that overwhelms the heart, that leads to what's called sattvika bhava, like an emotion related to this sattvam, or let's say an expression of that emotion related to that sattvam, and that can manifest as what's called anubhavas. The devotee starts to laugh loudly, or roll on the floor, or dance in ecstasy, like Lord Chaitanya exhibited all these things. It's the bhava, the transcendental emotion manifesting in bodily activity. But there's still some volition in like dancing, and there's still some kind of will expressed. And one expresses that emotion willingly through dancing, through rolling on the ground, and so on. And one almost can't hold it, but one still expresses that. But when the overwhelming feeling immediately takes over the body, then you get what's called sattvika bhava. So there's 8 sattvika bhavas, 8 transcendental symptoms of bhava in the body. So here 3 are mentioned. So here what is mentioned? So there's ashru, ashrudhara, there's weeping. That's one of them. There's
Choking.
choking of the voice and hair standing on end. Yes, romancha. Then there's a few more. There's stamba, paralysis. The body becomes completely stunned. Like the emotion goes so overwhelming, the devotee becomes like statue practically. There's pralaya, which means fainting. You see Lord Chaitanya also he exhibited this emotion of fainting. When he saw Lord Jagannath, he immediately fainted. Sweta, sweating, like intense perspiration. Vaivarnya, change of bodily color. Vepatu, that's trembling, intense trembling. And yes, so these make 8. So, but basically it's an intense emotion that immediately brings out a bodily reaction. Now, some people try to fake these things can be faked, like crying. Some people put some like chili in the eyes and they enter a temple and then they get some cheap respect for that. Or trembling and things like that. Usually people who have these kind of deep emotions, they don't exhibit those externally, they try to hide them. Sometimes the emotion becomes so intense, it's called blazing, when there's a term for that, when the emotion becomes blazing, then they can't check it. Like Srila Prabhupada, for example, he was always in love and feeling intense emotions for Krishna, but then sometimes he could not check it. So there's some beautiful, like Arjuna Prabhu often sometimes speaks about this, like being with Srila Prabhupada, sitting right next to him as Prabhupada chanted Radha Madhava, and sometimes Prabhupada would go and just, like tears would be coming from his eyes, and sometimes he would become stunned. Stomach, so then he went in a deep internal state and he couldn't move anymore. So he exhibited those things, but he'd always try to check them. So somebody may be on the stage of bhava, but may not necessarily exhibit these emotions. There's other characteristics of someone in this state of bhava bhakti by which you can recognize someone. So these are 9. I won't go through all of them, but for example, anyone knows some of the Bhakti Shastri students here?
Yeah. Is it attachment to the Dham?
Yeah, great attachment to reside in a holy place related to Krishna's pastimes.
You don't like wasting time?
Yeah, Avyarta Kalatvam, they never waste any moment. You won't see them scrolling on Facebook. Unless there's some really transcendental purpose to it in your service to Krishna. Yeah, Virakti, becoming very completely detached from anything, any material attachments. Namagani Sadaruchi. Always, not sometimes, always Namagani Sadaruchi. Taste in reciting, chanting Krishna's names. Again, Srila Prabhupada, you can even hear, sometimes you hear his morning walks. And he's always like chanting. Even sometimes there's like conversation going on, but it's in between somebody else is talking and you still hear him chanting. It's always so much taste for chanting. So these are the more, let's say, measurable symptoms of this bhava. But in any case, our topic is here, the longing for this. When will that state come where I rise to this state of this deep transcendental attachment to Krishna? And in which Krishna becomes revealed, and my eternal nature in relationship, my eternal relationship with Krishna becomes revealed. So this is expressed here by saying like, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, when will my hair stand on end? But it's a deeper prayer. It's the prayer for that transcendental attachment to Krishna. It's a prayer for this softening of the heart, for this melting of the heart, that our heart becomes like liquid. Actually, the nature of the soul, and many spiritual traditions, they try to negate emotions. Like for example, the Yoga Sutras. Anyone knows the definition of yoga given in the Yoga Sutras? Any yogis here?
Something about the stilling of.
Yeah, yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. The stilling of the chitta vrittis, of the activities of the mind. So the idea is like the mind becomes completely calm, like no feelings, no emotions, no desires, just calm, and then the Atma becomes somewhat manifest. The soul kind of reflects to this still mind. But beyond that state, there is a whole state of transcendental emotions awakened in this state. And because actually the nature of the Atma, of the self, is to be full of emotions, but they all naturally flow towards Krishna. That is actually the natural state of the soul. Our emotions are there, but they all focused on Krishna. They all flow towards Krishna. They're all in relationship to Krishna. So this is the softening of the heart, where whenever we hear about Krishna, whenever we chant Krishna's holy name and come in touch with Krishna, immediately our heart fully flows to him. And the liquid heart just flows to the object of our love. That is really what we're aspiring for. The heart becomes so soft. Basically, a heart which has melted is a heart which is easily transformed. In which emotions, like when you speak about a soft-hearted person, right? They look at the puppy and they immediately start to cry. Like some people are by nature very soft-hearted. So, like my wife, for example, whenever she sees someone crying, she also just starts crying. She doesn't even know why the person is crying. She just like, she's very empathic, so she feels the emotions, and then she just like affects her as well, because she's quite soft-hearted. So, this soft-heart is actually very, very favorable in bhakti. Actually, it's said that when one cultivates too much vairagya, renunciation, and knowledge, then the heart might become quite hard, because one rejects emotions as all material. So then when one comes in touch with Krishna, one also rejects Krishna's form, pastimes, and so on, and all the emotions the bhaktas experience. One thinks of them like, yeah, it's just emotion. Like, you can read, for example, Lord Chaitanya is so emotional, right? Chanting and dancing and fainting. And in the heart, like I can see it in myself sometimes, the tendency to say like, oh, can we just, like, you know? It doesn't have to be so emotional. I can see that like very subtle tendency, because I'm sure I've cultivated these impersonal paths in previous lives, so it leaves an impression in the heart, by which when you come in touch with these very emotional activities of devotees, you may think, and then I have to check myself, no, this is spiritual emotion. It's not anything of this world. So this kind of soft-heartedness is favorable for bhakti. That's why it said that one should not be too materially absorbed in material emotions and not too detached from emotions. Bhakti is like, the qualification for bhakti is one who's kind of in between. It's described like that. And it's also described by Srimad Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam says, this is, I'm not sure who's speaking, but I think it's the sages headed by Shaunaka. Yat ashvasaharam hridayam batedam. He said that heart is certainly still framed, which doesn't transform upon chanting the holy name of the Lord. So this is the state, the non-state of bhava. To the extent we're not in bhava, our heart is still framed. So when our heart is still framed, when we come in touch with Krishna, when we see Krishna, when we chant His holy names, nothing happens. It's actually still framed heart. Because the nature of the Atma, the very soft-hearted nature of the soul, is that whenever we come in touch with Krishna, then immediately there's a kind of a melting of the heart. Like you see the deities and you're like, just like you see the puppy or, your child or whatever. There's that melting of the heart. So that is what we aspire for, is that the heart melts. And it's described, what is this still framed heart? And Jiva Goswami describes this is because of offenses. Because we commit offenses. Now, I don't want to give a whole class on offenses. You can all look at this topic yourself. But the essence is we're not fully attentive to Krishna. We cannot fully appreciate Lord Krishna. So, really overcoming offenses starting with becoming attentive to Krishna. When we chant, when we hear, to really, because we kind of in a state of amnesia, we've forgotten Krishna, forgotten ourselves. But in becoming attentive to Krishna, then there's this awakening. Oh yes, this is my Lord, and I'm His eternal servant. And love awakens by attention. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also explains this. He wrote a song about this verse, and he says, "O Lord Hari, as a result of my offenses incurred in previous lifetimes," and I can say for myself in this one as well, "my heart has become hard like a thunderbolt and feels no change upon chanting your name. Now in utter hopelessness, I loudly sing your name, and in great distress I call out to you again and again." So this is an essential state in our development where we start to feel, why don't I feel? Why is my heart not melting? Why is my heart not being transformed? Why am I so hard-hearted? That upon chanting, upon hearing, nothing happening. And it's normal that nothing is happening because we've been in the material world forever. We've been separated from Krishna forever. So it takes cultivation. But within that cultivation, the desire should awaken, that eagerness should awaken. When, oh when, will my heart melt? When I chant and when I hear about Krishna. So really sadhana becomes very strong when that, and in the course of sadhana, this desire should awaken. That desire should awaken. And from that eagerness, then we may attain bhava. Because bhava is actually very rare to attain. Again, Nectar Devotion students, what's one of the symptoms of bhakti?
It's very rarely achieved.
Sudurlabha is very rarely achieved. And it specifically speaks about the stage of bhava bhakti. Why? Because Krishna very rarely gives it. Because once he gives this, once he reveals himself, he's conquered. Once he gives bhava, then he becomes conquered by the devotee. It's like, that bhava is like a flower, and Krishna is like a bee, and Krishna is so attracted by this pure love that he becomes captured by it, so that he's like, gets locked in this flower of the devotee's heart, of bhava, as described in Baladevi Vijayabhushan. So that's why he rarely gives it. So you have to really beg for it. And you have to really cry for it. So this is what Lord Chaitanya is doing. He's crying for it. Like he said, some of you said, hopeless, that was hopelessness, eagerness. And someone show these emotions are there. We can not always do this, but this is something to cultivate. When will my heart melt? And when will transcendental emotion come in my heart and soften my heart? And then, so I actually change. Like there's a change of heart when I chant Krishna's name. And the change of heart truly becomes exhibited by all these symptoms of like becoming detached and so on from material existence. So thank you so much. There's still a few minutes for some questions and comments. Yes, Mama Lakti.
Two quick things.
Just give us one. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you.
How do we have your attention?
Hey, the last point that you just made, tell me if this is accurate. I feel like in a way, that's why, based on what you're saying, that's why humility, honesty, non-duplicity is so important, because if I don't recognize that I fall short, if I don't recognize that I don't have bhakti, without that humility, there's no longing. And if there's no longing, then there's no prayer, then there's no reciprocation with that love. I've been thinking a lot about, particularly in a devotional community, you'll see that when there's a lacking in myself of humility, it's felt. It's devotees can read that really easily. It's just so obvious. And the statement that you just made in that beautiful quote by Baladevya Bhushana just paints for me so clearly one of the reasons that it's so important to accept that responsibility and just an honest, plain recognition of where I am. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you, Malati. Yeah, it's very true. Even in this sloka before this, we read it, natural humility and eagerness awoke in Lord Chaitanya. It says, Ati Utkanta, extreme anxiety or extreme eagerness, and Dainya, humility. 1 minute I have. Yes. Awoke in Lord Chaitanya. So yeah, humility is like, I don't have it, but I want it. So yes, and pretense is the great enemy of pure devotion, because we can have a sense of like, oh yes, I'm initiated, or like I'm practicing, I'm chanting my 16 rounds, I have a nice community, and so on and so on. One may be quite devotional service also uplifts us to the mode of goodness to some extent. Someone becomes quite satisfied, like, oh yes, I have a community, I have nice practice, I have everything is nice, and one said, oh, this is good. But unless the heart is like fully immersed in love, we're actually not fully satisfied, and nor is Krishna fully satisfied. That's another part of it. Why do we want to attain bhava? Not just for ourselves, but because Krishna is also not fully satisfied with our devotional service. So it's imbued with this deep emotional love. Cannot fully satisfy him. So yes, the complacency and a sense of like, oh, look at me, I'm doing great. That's actually a great enemy of spiritual progress. That's why, yeah, honesty and humility and seeing where like what I don't have can be really the ground upon which real desire and eagerness can sprout to attain the real thing. And sometimes we have to really like, even like run into like difficulty in our spiritual life, even some kind of fall down, some kind of like shaking up where you're like, oh yeah, I'm just like not actually hankering for the real thing. I'm kind of got distracted.
Krishna will help us.
Yes.
He'll
And
give
that's the
us
good thing.
opportunities.
Krishna will really help us because he wants that relationship with us. So he'll gradually pull us down. But we should try to operate as well.
Thank you, Vasudeva. Vasudeva Prabhu ki.
It's time for Arti. Let's clear the chairs and the cushions and we can sing and dance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Namo Vishnu Vasudaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. BBT founder Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Reverend Sigaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vedagara Shri Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath Shyamakant Radhakan Agini Govardhana ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki jai. Ganga Maya ki jai. Jamuna Maya ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Radha Murlidhar ki jai. Gurchandra Bhagavan ki jai. Ramana Shingadev ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Sankirtan Yagya ki jai. We have Mridanga Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai. Transcendental Prasadam Distribution ki jai. Jaini Tagore Premanand. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Guranga. Glories to Shri Guru.
Cartels? Oh, thank you. Sit down or sit?
Sit down.
Namaste Narashinhaya.
Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you all once again for coming to Bhagavat Sravana. We are here every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. So please do come back. Just a couple brief announcements. Coming up in a few weeks is a festival. The appearance of Gaurachandra appeared at Bhakti Center, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so,
First day of Kartik also.
and it's also the first day of Kartik, so we're going to begin the month of Kartik off in grand style with a nice big festival. That's the 17th of October. A few days later, on October 19th, is the boat festival. Anything you want to say about that?
Yeah.
Great.
So one of the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna is boat pastimes called Nauka Vihar. If you've ever been to Vrindavan, the Krishna Balaram temple, they make a big pool out of the entire courtyard, and they put Radha and Krishna on the boat, and they let them float around. So we're gonna make a pond here, not as big, but a nice pond, and we have a nice boat for Radha and Buddha, and we'll have them float around. So please all come. It's gonna be a one-of-a-kind festival, the very first boat festival ever at the Bhakti Center. We're gonna commemorate these very sweet pastimes of Radha and Krishna as they go in the boat. So please come for that.
Excellent, thank you very much. And are you coming back on the 13th, or we don't know yet?
No.
You won't be. Okay, so you will be back to continue the series. Excellent, okay. Lastly, oh yeah, thank you. So next week at Bhagavat Sravana, Maya Prabhu from England will be here, a great speaker, former president of the manor. He'll be here, so if you can make it next week especially, it's a great day to be here. Every Wednesday, Bhakti Center hosts a program at 26 2nd Avenue called Prabhupada Meditations. That's at 6:30. It's a 1-hour program. Prashadam is served at 7:30. It's a nice, intimate sharing of the glorification of Srila Prabhupada through his disciples, grand disciples, and books of his disciples about him. So if you can make that, please do. Thank you very much. Prashadam is now served at the back of the temple room, a vegan feast. Hare Krishna chant and be happy. Bye-bye.